Game over. Major General Hendrik Flynn just dropped a bombshell that could change everything for Sinona. We're talking about 541 kilograms drug heist in Port Shepstone. And now new details are raising questions about access, security, and who knew that. Because if the wrong person had the keys, then it wasn't just a mistake. Watch till the end because this is where it gets serious.
Libya.
And what was the purpose of the information note?
The purpose of the information note was to appraise the national head on the feedback in relation to the burglary or housebreaking and theft of the 541 kilograms of cocaine from Port Shepstone Serious Organized Crime Investigation Unit.
Okay, and on page 113 at paragraph 2.2, under the heading background, you will see that General Mosikiri refers to, it says that she traveled to KwaZulu-Natal and met with the provincial head, Major General Sinona. Subsequently, the provincial head submitted a report regarding the incident, and it is summarized as follows. And then on the next page is a summary, according to General Mosikiri, of what General Sinona had reported about the incident. And he also starts with the seizure of the drugs in June 2021. Now, we've dealt with some of the evidence that General Sinona deals with in his factual report, but if I can then ask you to go to page 115, where he deals with what happens to the cocaine and specifically referencing Warrant Officer Perumal. If I could ask you to read, without reading out the SAP reference number in paragraph 2.2.5, if you could read that paragraph into the record.
Paragraph 2.2.5, the exhibits were counted by the members and it was established that there were 541 bricks of cocaine weighing approximately 1 kilogram. I think it was supposed to read 1 kilogram each. They were entered into Isipingo with a reference number. Warrant Officer Perumal of Isipingo SAPS indicated that they did not have space to store such volume of narcotics. A provincial office was notified of the lack of storage facility at the station and at FSL.
Now, are you aware of where General Sinona would have gotten the version that Warrant Officer Perumal said that there wasn't any space at Isipingo to store the drugs?
Commissioners, I don't know for a fact, but it can only be from his subordinates that were either at the scene or overseeing, so either within the provincial structure or from Colonel Jacob and his team.
I did refer you earlier on, in your evidence, that Colonel Jacob's version is in fact that he never engaged Warrant Officer Perumal about the capacity. If you look at what you say in 52, in fact, he says, Colonel Jacob says that he was Warrant Officer Perumal was never asked if there was capacity to store the exhibits at Isipingo. According to Colonel Jacob, Isipingo was not considered because it is well known that Isipingo is a smaller police station and is in a high-risk area. So on Colonel Jacob's own version, he never engaged with Warrant Officer Perumal about whether there was capacity or not. He's going off the basis that it is well known that Isipingo doesn't have capacity.
That's correct, Commissioners. He basically confirms what Perumal has said, that Perumal was not engaged.
And could you find any statement in the docket, which is obviously not before us for various reasons, but could you find any statement in the docket where Warrant Officer Perumal says that he said there was no capacity?
There's no such statement, Commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you, General. And then at 2.2.6 on
the key being given to the custodian of the key opening, Mbangase getting in, whatever, and when I say Mbangase, it's just a placeholder, could be anybody, getting in, doing the sealing, then completing the job. Is all of that supposed to be recorded? And in this case, was it recorded?
Commissioners, the register makes provision for obviously the booking in and booking out of exhibits. So here obviously the whole process was upside down, to say the least. And it was never supposed to happen like that. So if General Senona had proper control over the key, he was supposed to open that safe and not provide the key to anybody under his command to go into that facility, because he will never be able to account for what transpired there in his absence.
I think the question is also a different one, is in the normal course, would the custodian have a register of every person that had entered the strong room or asked him for access to the key, so that there's a record of who went into the strong room?
Not necessarily, Commissioners, because the only reason why an investigator will go back to an SAP 13 will be to book out the exhibits that was previously booked in and to take it to the Forensic Science Laboratory and then obviously sign for it in the register. So there's no specific provision for investigators to go into that type of facilities. There will be no proper explanation for that, except for booking out exhibits.
Unless an investigator, such as, let's say, Mpangase, he puts it in his diary or in his book where he says, I got in at this time, this is what I did, and that would be the record. Otherwise, there's no provision for him getting in and doing the work that he ended up doing in there.
That's correct, Commissioners. It was supposed to be recorded in a pocketbook.
KG, because we have the 22 June 2021, which is the theft of the 541 kg. Then we've got the Ayrton, which is 9 July, which was 700, and then there's the 1,000 kg that is at the end of July. So in the space of just over a month, there's 3 big drug busts. And out of the 3, it's just the one in Port Shepstone that there's the theft. What happened to the 1,000 kg?
Those exhibits were successfully transferred to the Forensic Science Laboratory, Commissioners.
Then if we can deal with paragraph 63.
I referred earlier to the 2021 information note by General Musikidi regarding the theft of the cocaine at Port Shepstone. In this information note, reference is made to an attempted break-in at the premises in early October 2021, a few weeks before the 2021 theft. According to the information note, attempts were made to finalize the investigation to mitigate the threat posed by storing exhibits at the premises.
Can we then go to the information note, page 116, it's HFF4. And this is still the factual report from General Senona. So if you can read 2.3 and then 2.3.1, the heading at 2.3.
2.3, the provincial head further reported that, 2.3.1, during early October 2021, the provincial commander informed the investigating officer, Lieutenant Colonel Jacob, of an attempted break-in at the Port Shepstone office. Upon further discussions with the provincial management, attempts were made to finalize the investigation. This was done to mitigate the threat posed by having exhibits stored at Port Shepstone offices. The FSL was again approached by the IO on 27 October 2021 in order to expedite the analysis report. However, Warrant Officer Sechedi indicated that he needed approximately 7 bricks of cocaine from the exhibit seized. He further reiterated that FSL does not have space to store the exhibits. The IO had arranged with FSL that additional bricks of cocaine from Port Shepstone could be obtained during the week of 15th November 2021.
General, do you want to comment on that paragraph?
Well, Commissioners, I think it speaks for itself, but here again, Warrant Officer Sechedi is based at FSL in Amanzimtoti. But the consignment was supposed to be delivered in totality to the Forensic Science Laboratory in Silverton.
Thank you. General, can you then go to paragraph 64 of your...
At the premises, or to move the cocaine to a more secure location after the attempted break-in.
What would have been a more secure location if it couldn't go to FSL?
Any of the police stations, SAP 13 facilities in the Durban area would have been more secure.
Then...
Can I, maybe back to my question. So we see that on the 27th of October, a call is made and Sitsedi said that they don't have storage at FSL. My understanding of the evidence was that even earlier than the 27th of October, there had been a request or at least an indication from FSL that they don't have capacity to store that whole consignment. Am I correct in that understanding?
That's correct, Commissioner, but that request went to Amanzimtoti lab.
I see.
And not to the main lab.
Yes.
In Silverton.
And the request to Amanzimtoti, and I think that's what I was asking about earlier, that first request to Amanzimtoti, is it accounted for? Who made the request? Who did they make it to? Who said they don't have space?
Commissioners, there is a pro forma document that need to be completed that accompany the actual exhibits or the samples that was obtained now to FSL. So upon handing up or handing in the exhibits at FSL, you submit that request of the necessary investigations that need to be performed by FSL with the exhibits, and you receive an acknowledgement of receipt. So under normal circumstances, that letter will be under the signature of the unit commander to the Forensic Science Laboratory commander, who then obviously disseminate the exhibits to the appropriate section for further handling.
So if for some good reason a decision had been made not to transfer this consignment to Silverton, but let's say there was a good reason and it was to be taken to Amanzimtoti, you're saying that process would follow. There would be a completion of a pro forma document that gets submitted. And would that be for the entire consignment?
No, Commissioner, obviously if the entire consignment was submitted, then that request